bravery in the face of danger.
There's no official training on this one, to be honest with you.
A sheriff's deputy puts his safety on the line to stop a wrong-way driver.
This was more of just a head-on collision to put myself in that danger and stop it.
Tonight, we're learning this was not the first time he's confronted danger head-on.
Answering the call to help.
I didn't want to be a part of the bystander. I wanted to jump in and help.
A Colorado nurse sharing her experiences as she returns home from Ukraine.
Relieving congestion on one of the state's busiest stretches of highway.
It's going to make the road a lot more functional, a lot safer, and just a lot easier for everyone to use.
When work is slated to begin on improvements to the I-70 mountain corridor.
Signing up to be a police officer means signing up to confront danger head-on.
And a Lincoln County Sheriff's deputy is receiving praise for doing just that, using his squad vehicle to stop a driver going the wrong way on I-70. And tonight, authorities are investigating whether that driver was experiencing a medical condition.
Denver 7's CB Cotton talked with the deputy familiar with facing danger.
The cars were moving faster than these.
We got multiple 911s of a wrong way driver on Interstate 70 going westbound in the eastbound lanes.
And Lincoln County Deputy Mike Hutton knew he had to act.
Before I knew it, I saw the headlights coming at me and a line of cars behind me at about mile marker 385. And within seconds, I had to make the decision to just place my vehicle at a little bit of an angle and just take that hit myself.
He took the hit. Sunday evening around 9 p.m., Deputy Hutton and his cruiser became the buffers to potential tragedy on I-70, 3 miles east of Araba.
The oath that I swore and the duty that I have to protect others and put their lives before mine just took over. And I did what I thought was right in the moment to just mitigate any serious injury or possibly death to anybody else.
The bumpers for each car took a beating, but thankfully, Hutton and the wrong-way driver only had minor injuries. Healing the mind is another hurdle.
Scared, absolutely scared. I thought about my family, of course, and I do have a baby on the way here in about a month and a half.
There's been more than one terrifying moment for Deputy Hutton in the past year. He was shot 3 times while responding to a theft in progress in May of last year.
Lung power is still a little iffy sometimes, but and mobility in my thumb and my left wrist, stuff like that is still kind of hit and miss. But I'm doing good, honestly. I can't complain.
But he has no complaints because there's lives he wants to save.
To protect people that are innocent, from serious injury or death is an absolute priority of mine.
In Lincoln County, I'm CB Cotton, Denver 7.
He is incredibly brave, and that incident remains under investigation. A spokesperson for the Colorado State Patrol says at this time the wrong-way driver has not been cited. Deputy Hutton is expected to return to the job Wednesday.
Well, Labor Day may mark the unofficial end of summer, but certainly does not mark the end of the summer-like weather. So many people were lucky enough to escape the heat today, cooling down with a tube ride down Clear Creek.
Water looks refreshing. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson. Mike, these hot temperatures not going away anytime soon, so we could even see some records this week.
I think we'll get at least 2 coming up in the next few days. This afternoon, we hit the upper 90s in the Denver area. 97 was the high, but the record on this date is 101, set 2 years ago. But it was 100 degrees at Fort Collins and Greeley, also up at Scottsbluff and out west at Grand Junction. Right now, it's still a warm night. It's still 87 degrees at Grand Junction, and we're still at 74 degrees in Denver with 78 up at Greeley. There's only a little bit of cloud cover and a few light showers over the southwest corner of the state. That's not coming our way. Matter of fact, the whole west is dry and clear and very hot in California, where they had readings 110 to 115 degrees in the interior valleys today. For us, we have records coming up. Record heat tomorrow. The current mark is 97 in 2020. I think we beat that. We certainly beat the 95 coming up on Wednesday in 2013. Little or no rain until Friday. There is a fairly decent cool down at the end of the week, and I'll have that for you in the 7-day forecast in about 15 minutes.
All right, we'll see you in about 15, Mike. Thanks. And at least 3 schools in Denver are going to let class out early tomorrow because of the heat. They include McAuliffe International, Denison Montessori, and Godsman Elementary. Now, McAuliffe International will also let out early Wednesday and Thursday. DPS tells us Skinner Middle School will let out early Wednesday, but students will have the full day tomorrow.
Well, it's back to reality as Coloradans return home from the long holiday weekend. This is what an eastbound I-70 looked like this evening as thousands of people made their way back to the metro from the mountains. CDOT says it expected today to be one of the busiest days on the road during the holiday weekend.
And traffic on I-70 today, just a taste of what will come with ski season. One of the busiest stretches is between Floyd Hill and the Veterans Memorial Tunnels, a stretch prone to gridlock, as you know, during winter storms and as drivers make their way up to the resorts. Well, CDOT is in the middle of planning a massive project to hopefully alleviate some of that congestion. Upgrades include adding a third lane for westbound traffic, smoother curves, and proper shoulders there. CDOT says they're getting very close to finalizing the design and hope to break ground on this project next month.
Obviously, it's a construction project. There will be impacts from time to time. We'll be coming back to folks to let them know when that happens. But we're going to be doing everything we can to keep that experience as smooth as we can.
Construction could last until 2027. This project will cost an estimated $700 million.
I-25 was closed for multiple hours in Thornton today after police shot and killed a man on the highway. Police say they received multiple reports of a man walking in traffic, causing cars to swerve around him. Officers arrived and tried making contact. At some point, officers say the man produced an unspecified weapon and was shot by an officer. The man was taken to the hospital where he died. He's not been identified. The shooting is under investigation by the 17th Judicial District's Critical Response Team.
There are new developments tonight in the deadly stabbing spree and manhunt in Canada. Authorities say one of the two men suspected of killing 10 people in Saskatchewan has been found dead. Damien Sanderson's body was found today in a grassy area near a home in Regina. Investigators have not revealed the cause of death, but they did add he had injuries that do not appear to be self-inflicted. They're searching now for Sanderson's brother, Miles Sanderson. They believe he could be in Regina.
In Europe, the president of Ukraine is calling Russia a terrorist state, telling ABC's David Muir he believes Moscow is using Europe's largest nuclear plant as a weapon.
The biggest in the Europe. It means 6 Chernobyls. It means the biggest danger in the Europe. So they occupied it. So that means that they use nuclear weapon. That is nuclear weapon.
Concerns over a potential disaster have grown amid fighting near the nuclear plant. A fire caused by shelling forced officials to disconnect a backup power line in order to put the fire out. This comes as a team of nuclear inspectors who visited the plant are expected to brief the UN Security Council Tuesday.
And a Broomfield nurse is back now in Colorado after spending months helping on the front lines there in Ukraine.
She sat down with Denver 7's Patrick Perez to talk about what she saw and the messages she wants to share from the Ukrainian people.
So this will go directly on the wound. You'll keep pressure on as you apply it.
It takes a certain kind of person to pack up and leave for a country at war. For Rebecca Masharowski, it didn't take much thought.
I think everybody watched the news in February, early March, and was like, oh, this is horrible. Somebody should do something. I didn't want to be a part of the bystander. I wanted to jump in and help.
After taking a leave of absence from her nursing job, Rebecca arrived in Ukraine in March, and almost immediately her skills were put to the test.
What I saw was really sad. It's really sad. Just complete devastation of people's homes, people's grocery stores, hospitals.
She volunteered with a Ukrainian-led group called Hospitalers. Her main goal was to help with medical evacuations. That meant picking up soldiers injured in combat, treating them in an ambulance, and taking them to the nearest hospital.
We could fit up to 4 in our ambulance to the hospital, and you're still washing the blood out of the ambulance. You get a call, okay, you have to go back, there's another one.
Some of the soldiers would die before Rebecca and her team could get to them.
You look at the birth date and you're like, how is he even fighting?
But the devastating effects of the invasion were just as harmful to the civilians. Many were forced to leave behind the life they've always known while escaping.
We saw a lot of pets left behind. People didn't have the resources to evacuate their animals, so I became the dog mom of the village we were in, which was a fun role. These pressure dressings are so valuable.
Now back in Broomfield, Rebecca hopes to continue spreading the concerns her Ukrainian counterparts have about the world forgetting them and moving on.
The Ukrainian people would beg me when I got back, please tell people what's happening, show them what's happening, because they really believe that if people understood and saw what was happening over there, surely they wouldn't let it continue.
Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
And Rebecca says the best way you can help is to find a way to donate trauma supplies like tourniquets and pressure dressings. She says there's such desperate need for them, and she plans to return to Ukraine next month.
A federal judge is granting former President Trump's request for a special master to review classified and top secret material found at his estate. This independent attorney will be tasked with looking over the documents seized by the FBI last month for potential attorney-client privileged information. The Justice Department and Trump's legal team will have until Friday to submit a list of proposed special master candidates and a proposed order outlining that person's duties and limitations. Today's ruling also means the Justice Department will have to halt all of its reviews of the material taken from Mar-a-Lago as part of its criminal investigation. The agency will still be allowed to review that material for national security assessments.
For an undrafted rookie, making the NFL roster is an incredible moment.
But for one Broncos player, that moment will have to take a backseat to an even greater one. Today, receiver Jalen Virgil and his girlfriend welcomed a baby boy, Kalen Lorenzo Virgil, into the world. Isn't he cute? Now, Virgil tweeted his son was born just before 3 a.m. at 7 pounds, 14 ounces. He says Kalen came out healthy and ready to take on the world.
All right, as for Dad and the rest of the Broncos, they will play Seattle Seahawks right here on Denver 7 1 week from tonight. One of the biggest opening nights in Broncos history. Our pregame coverage begins at 5, kickoff 6:15, and then a special postgame show right after the game.
Beware before you buy.
There's people that are driving hours, like, 4+ hours to go see these concerts to get there, and the tickets are fake.
A new scam targeting Coloradans looking for concert tickets.
Help for a teacher in need.
Overwhelmed, happy, excited for the kids.
Denver 7 viewers step up for a Colorado teacher who lost everything.